Coming up on 9:09 now, here's a live look at Capitol Hill in Washington. More cabinet confirmation hearings are set for today. Senators will first question former federal prosecutor Kash Patel, Trump's nominee for FBI director. His hearing set to start in less than 30 minutes at 9:30. After that, you've got a separate Senate committee will be holding a hearing for former Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. She is President Trump's nominee for Director of National Intelligence. Her testimony set to start around 10 this morning.
We're joined now by Davidson College professor Dr. Susan Roberts. Dr. Roberts, thanks for joining us. I want to skip past the formalities and get right into what we saw yesterday from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in front of the Senate Finance Committee. Yesterday was the finance, today it's going to be the health, but yesterday he had trouble even answering questions about Medicaid and Medicare, not knowing that many of them don't pay premiums or deductibles and not knowing how to integrate the two. What do you make of his hearing yesterday and what do you expect for today?
Well, I think it was marked by confusion and a little bit by contradictions from his earlier statements. And that was, there was a pattern between the Democrats and Republicans, but Senator Bill Cassidy from Louisiana, a physician, had really, you could tell there were reservations in his questioning, but I think it was marked by, an explicit loyalty/fealty to Donald Trump. He said, I serve at the pleasure of the president, which is the case. But I think it was chaotic, confusing, and we're going to see what today brings. But you're right. There were holes in his testimony that were troubling. One thing that he did, I'll just mention this and not really pontificate, but he left a paper trail. There were things that the Democrats said, didn't you write this? And he did. Didn't you say this? And he did. So a paper trail can be very damaging for any nominee.
Well, and now we have that paper trail that anyone can have access to with social media, if you're posting on X or what have you. But Dr. Roberts, we had you on earlier this week, and we mentioned that one of the toughest paths to confirmation would be Tulsi Gabbard, who is going to be grilled in about an hour here. What do you expect from her testimony today?
Well, I think it's going to center around her visit to Syrian president, and I think it also looks at what she had to say about Edward Snowden and a pardon there. I think it's going to be. I think Matt Gaetz was the sacrificial lamb. I think that, and I'm speculating that she will get confirmed, and maybe if there's another sacrificial lamb, it'll be JFK, but everybody else is going to make it for President Trump. And I think she has some tough questions. I think she's used to taking tough questions. I think hers will not be as confusing. It will be very well scripted. So I think you can expect that today.
Of course, Kash Patel also up for FBI director. That confirmation hearing will be later this morning as well. I want to talk about another big moment yesterday. Dr. Roberts, if we can, we had been talking about since Monday that President Trump had this freeze on federal funds, which sent a shockwave through many organizations throughout the country. A lot of Republicans yesterday, as they're saying, they hit the ceiling, because then you had state officials calling their representatives going, hey, wait a second, what does this mean to all the funding? What's the trickle-down effect? Now we're hearing there's a pause on the freeze from Trump. What's your take on where this is going out of the administration?
Well, I think the emphasis is on the word pause, and I think it still creates a lot of confusion. The people that this freeze would have an impact on live in red states and blue states. And I think it was one of the things that was very dramatic. It wanted to cut federal spending, but it was on a chopping box and not a knife. I think it was very widespread, and I think it was ill-conceived. And I think that many of the projects and the things that are going on with the president right now, much of the drama of the Department of Ed, mass deportations, were thought out in terms of Project 2025. So this may have been one that was conceived, but there wasn't a sufficient examination of the consequences and the political fallout. I've been reading several stories today that kind of interview people in the wake of these decisions, and some of the people aren't terribly troubled. They wanted the government to be cut back. I don't know that they wanted it to be dismantled. But I think that this is one that, what does it mean to pause? And his press secretary said, now this doesn't mean it's going away. This is just a pause.
All right, again, Dr. Susan Roberts from Davidson College. We appreciate you joining us this morning. Plenty to talk about with Trump, the confirmation hearings today for members of his cabinet, and of course that federal freeze. We'll be talking about all of it. But again, Dr. Roberts, thank you for your insight this morning.